Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be comparing the TRD Pro Tacoma to the TRD Off-Road to see if you should really spend the extra $10,000 to go for the Pro. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Toyota here in Murray for giving me some time with both the trucks. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. The TRD Pro only has one powertrain option available. It's a turbo 2.4 liter 4-cylinder hybrid that goes through an 8-speed. It puts out 326 horsepower and then 465 pound-feet of torque. Now the TRD Off-Road has the same exact powertrain with this particular truck, but you can also get the non-hybrid that puts out 278 horsepower and then 317 pound-feet of torque. So you got powertrain options. Now before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the TRD Pro, this thing looks incredibly aggressive, especially next to the Off-Road. Part of that's the fake hood vent. Heritage Toyota logo just always looks cool. You got the aggressive rigid fog lights, and then you got the TRD skid plate. I think all of that comes together to make it look more aggressive. And then also the ride height difference. It does sit a little bit higher than the TRD Off-Road. Taking a look at the TRD Off-Road, I think it's still a great looking truck. You can easily swap the grille, by the way, with the TRD Off-Road to make it look like a Pro. And then the air dam is also very easy to remove on the Off-Road. And then, I mean, badge swap. Come on, you could easily change that iForce Max badge to say TRD Pro if you wanted. 265 by 70 by 18 is the tire and wheel setup with both of the trucks. Now the TRD Pro has a more aggressive offset because you'll notice if you look at how the tires sit there within the fenders and the fender flares and everything, the TRD Pro wheels poke out quite a bit more. If you put those TRD Pro wheels on the TRD Off-Road, you'd have negative offset actually. And that's because the TRD Pro does come with a wider track and everything. Now, you'll notice you've got the special TRD Pro shocks and suspension, so Fox shocks, and then you've got the upgraded upper control arms. Now the TRD Off-Road's no slouch. It still has Bilstein shocks. Here's your side profile with the TRD Pro, and this one has the ARB chase rack there in the back, which looks pretty cool. And then here's your side profile with the TRD Off-Road. Now taking a quick look at the bed equipment with both of them, it is pretty much identical, so we're not really going to focus on that too much because we're going to focus on the differences. Big difference is the exhaust tip situation. So there's the TRD Off-Road, and then also the suspension again. So solid axle with both of them, and you can see the Bilstein shocks there with the TRD Off-Road versus the Fox shocks with the Pro. But yeah, the Pro has more aggressive looking exhaust tips, and then the bumper here on the Pro as well. ARB rear bumper versus the fancy painted bumper there on the TRD Off-Road. So there's the Off-Road, there's the Pro, both of them in white, so hopefully you can see the difference. Now popping to the back of the Off-Road, you can see it says TRD there on the door panel. Now I picked an Off-Road that has the hybrid and the premium package, so the interior is going to be super comparable, but backseat area, this is an important difference. And that's because first off, the Pro actually has soft touch there on the door panel, whereas the Off-Road doesn't, and it's got fancy red trim on the seats, but you've got the shock absorber seats, so you've got significantly less legroom space in the Pro compared to the Off-Road. But at least up front, the premium does give you nicer trim there. Let's compare the payloads. So 1200 with the premium. And again, really nice trim there on the front seat. Now all of the stuff's gonna be a carryover pretty much, so like the gauge cluster, the big infotainment system. I do want to focus on some of this kit. So you'll notice we've got multi-terrain select with crawl control. We have a rear locking differential. The rear diff button is right there. And this has heated and ventilated seats. It's a premium, so it's got all the stuff the Pro's gonna have luxury-wise, sunroof as well. You even have the little auxiliary switches right there. So a lot of the interior you're gonna notice is a straight carryover to the Pro. I mean, you do have the red, which definitely adds a layer of cool, and then TRD Pro down below. So you've got some stuff to pizzazz things up. Payload, by the way, 1,200 pounds. And then of course the TRD Pro seats up front. But you'll notice stuff like the auxiliary switches are a carryover. I mean, you've got the light bar added. You can see here with the pedals fancier. You've got the TRD Pro steering wheel with the marker there at the top. So a lot of the interior changes are actually just little aesthetic bits. But you'll notice we have a stabilizer bar disconnect with this. You can get it with a TRD Off-Road, but it's optional equipment, whereas it's standard with the Pro. But the multi-terrain select, all of that's the same. You still have the sunroof, still have the big screen with the 360 camera. So again, all of that tech is going to be the same with both of them. So if you don't have the stabilizer bar disconnect with the off-road, there's a $10,000 price difference, $57K for the off-road, 67-ish K for the TRD Pro. But if you have that stabilizer bar disconnect, that puts the off-road to about $58,000 for the pricing. So about a $9,000 price difference still. Let's drive them and see how they perform. TRD Off-Road Premium with the hybrid. Pretty cool packaging. Been hard to find one of these for quite some time because the hybrids, at least here in Utah, they sell like hotcakes. You can see there's a lot of Tacomas, but those are all non-hybrids. I think this is the only, might be the only hybrid they've got on the lot right now that's not already sold. And I bet by the time I make it home today, this will be sold. And time will tell, right? First off, you've got plenty of low-end torque with the hybrid, which I think is what you want in a pickup truck, right? So you don't have to get, I mean, you're still gonna dig into the throttle a bit, but you know, you don't have to dig into it as much when you've got tons and tons of low-end torque. Now, aside from the torque with this, seats are comfortable in the premium. You've got the nice Softex seats, which Softex is one of the few non-leather leathers that I actually really like because it's got, I don't know, it feels premium enough. And yeah, it's just a comfortable experience overall. Having the heated ventilated function is nice. Yeah, great torque out of this. You get little turbo blow-off noises. Kind of fun. Yeah, the top end kind of tapers off a bit because it is still a 4-cylinder at the end of the day. But all things considered, it's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Now the suspension with this is kind of more for like long-term durability with on-road and off-road use. That's what those Bilstein shocks are for. They will last for a very long time, but you know, performance-wise, not gonna be quite as comfortable as a fancier shock like a, you know, remote reservoir shock, for example. And you got to ask yourself, do I care about durability or performance? So, kind of putting it all together, I think this thing is pretty fun. And I think it's a great package on the Tacoma. You know, $57K is a lot of money, but you're getting the hybrid, you get all the off-road capability, and you get all the luxury. This has everything that you'd want. And this new generation Tacoma, what you have to understand is a TRD Off-Road with the new gen is more capable than a previous gen TRD Pro when it comes to off-road capability. You can fit much bigger tires on this. The new multi-terrain select traction control system is significantly better than the previous system. And so, yeah, if you want all the luxury and the power and everything, then this is kind of like the best way to go without going up even higher in price. Well, I'll say right off the bat, I do not like the TRD Pro seats. And if you're wondering why, it's not that, I mean, the space in the back is obviously annoying, but the bolsters are much tighter. And so, like at the top, it's not too bad, but my legs, I do not fit in the center of these seats. Toyota, you know that people work out their legs. I know that like a lot of bros in the US skip leg day. I don't. So it's like, I guess if you skip leg day, you'll be fine. Your little pencil legs will fit in here. But yeah, if you actually work out your legs, it's too tight. Like I'd have to have my legs completely together. And even then I'm still like almost on the bolster. Like, yeah, I'm still kind of on the bolsters there. That's not comfortable. I will say the sound, it's a little bit deeper, a little bit bigger rumble. Still 4-cylinder though. Now power-wise, it's not any more powerful, and it doesn't have bigger tires. It has a higher ride height, the tires are the same exact size. So acceleration, in theory, should pretty much be the same, and initially it feels pretty much the same. What doesn't feel the same is the suspension. It is substantially different. You feel the wider track. Yeah, acceleration's the same, pretty much. But yeah, you feel the wider track. This definitely handles, like the TRD Off-Road handles great. This handles better. This feels very Raptor-esque. I mean, yeah, super sporty feeling. Yeah, you really do feel like you're driving kind of like a big suspension Baja vehicle. It's kind of cool. It just sucks that the seats are so darn tight. Definitely not my preference. I will say this actually seems kind of busier on the suspension, like it's constantly doing stuff. And sometimes high performance shocks are just like that. You have to have big, like they can handle the big compression way better than like those Bilsteins, but under small compression sometimes they can be kind of busy. It's not bad, but it is busy. It's a good way to put it. Not bad, but it's busy. That torque is great. Yeah, it definitely feels like a mini Raptor. Definitely feels like a mini Raptor. So here's how I'll cut this. And I lived with the Trail Hunter for weeks, so I'll add that into this to kind of help things out. So yeah, if you want all off-road performance and you want a back seat, then yeah, Trail Hunter is gonna be the way to go. There's that. When it comes to these two trucks compared to each other, take off the air dam from the TRD Off-Road. Take off the air dam, put bigger tires on it, more than enough capability for most people. Even stock, that's more than enough capability, but just put, you don't have to lift it. You do not have to lift it at all. Just put bigger tires on it. And that truck will go anywhere you want it. You get the Pro, if you want the Pro name, right? And some people want the Pro name. But if you're actually gonna, like here in Utah, we've got pretty big expanses of desert where you could actually use the suspension in this. If you don't have it, that's going to be better, right? Because if you're doing like this stuff, right, the 4 mile an hour crawling, that's going to be just as good, actually better, because it's narrower. This is going to be great over, you know, going down those dirt roads where you're able to go like 40-50 miles an hour, you know. So that's the way that I see it. I think that there's benefits to both. Is the TRD Pro worth more? It's got really nice suspension. The suspension's definitely worth something, but it's only worth it if you actually use it. If you don't use it, you might as well just get an off-road premium. You get all the off-road capability, you get all the luxury, and you save yourself $9,000 to $10,000